Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining us today. My name is Andy Ogg on behalf of TravelProfessionalNews.com, HomeBaseTravelAgent.com, and FindAHostTravelAgency.com. I want to welcome all of you to today's webinar and thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us. We are thrilled to welcome our speaker today, David Mayhofer, the Vice President of Sales and Engagement at Travel Planners International, also known as TPI. Dave is a seasoned professional with over 2 decades of experience in the travel industry. Prior to joining TPI, he had key positions at renowned companies such as Celebrity Cruises, Palette Vacations, and Enterprise Rent-A-Car, where he excelled in sales, account management, and leadership roles. He has a proven track record of leadership, building and maintaining strong relationships, prospecting new business opportunities, and delivering engaging presentations and trainings. With a bachelor's degree in Recreation and Leisure Services Management from East Stroudsburg University of Pennsylvania, David brings a unique blend of industry experience and education qualifications to his new role at TPI. Today's webinar topic is 10 questions to diagnose the perfect vacation. 2 very lucky attendees will each win a 30-minute consultation with David. To be sure to listen carefully. On top of that, we will be providing a $50 Amazon gift card to one lucky attendee. Please remember that you are all muted, and while we welcome your questions, you can type in your questions at any time in the question area you see on the right-hand side of your screen. When the presentation is over, we will take as many of those questions as we have time for. So let's turn the microphone over to my friend so he can get started and you guys have to stop listening to me. Dave, welcome. Thanks for being here, my friend.
Andy, thank you so much for having me. How are you today?
I'm doing just fine.
Good. Well, Andy, thank you for the great introduction. And I know we were talking a little bit earlier. Enjoy your steak dinner later. I know we may talk at the end of the broadcast, but in any case, thank you for all of you tuned in right now. For those of you possibly listening to a recording of this, I appreciate you jumping on and hearing me out regarding 10 questions to diagnose the perfect vacation. And that's one thing when I think about the role I'm in, when I think about all the years of sales experience that I have, it's all about asking questions. It's all about qualifying a customer. And really, ultimately, it's about being curious, right? Hopefully those of you tuned in, or at least some of you, have seen the movie Ted Lasso, the series Ted Lasso, right? And if you have, and if you paid attention, one of the biggest things, and one of my favorite scenes happens in a pub when Ted's playing darts against the ex-husband of the owner of the soccer club. But in any case, one of the quotes and lines from Ted Lasso is, "Be curious, not judgmental." Read that and repeat that to yourself. You don't have to say it out loud, but be curious, not judgmental. And now, today we're going to focus on that whole be curious part mostly, where being curious about your customer, your client, asking a ton of questions. And today, we'll dive into 10 of those questions, but there are so many more that are out there. And some of you may have, or you may do a pretty good job at qualifying and whatnot. But ultimately, at the end of the day, being curious is going to help you diagnose that perfect vacation. The judgmental part of it, that comes in as well. But, that comes into treating each and every client the same, no matter what they look like, no matter what they talk like. And diving deeper and engaging them and being curious and finding out more and more about the customers when it comes to not being judgmental. So you hear about this often, right? You hear about transactional relationships or interactions, and then you hear about relational interactions and engaging with your clients. Many of times, your conversation, talk track, what's happening with that client, it's going one of these two ways, more towards the transactional side or more towards the relational side. And there's some big differences here, but overall, for me, it's best to be more relational than transactional, because the more relational you are, the more likely that client, that customer, that hopefully that new friend will go ahead and believe in what you're doing in regards to the transaction piece of selling travel, right? Selling a cruise vacation, selling a land vacation, whatever it may be. Those of you who don't know, let's talk about transactional for a second. Being transactional is something more like being, clear, providing a clear-cut understanding, setting of expectations, goal-oriented. That interaction with a client has one thing in mind, and that's getting the sale done and providing everything they need from point A to point Z throughout the transaction to make it happen. And some of you, right, in your own shopping experiences may have dealt or worked with people like that it's like you walk in the door, you pick up the phone, you're about to buy that new sofa, a car, a trip, whatever it might be. And that salesperson was a lot more transactional without really getting to know you. That has a tendency to turn people off. That's transactional. It's all about the sale, about the job at hand. But then there's the relational side of it. And right, I like this image on your screen here where on the transactional side, there's a dollar sign in the chest. On the relational side, now we're talking about getting to the heart, right? And this is becoming more emotionally intimate. Focus on maybe the long-term relationship and maybe even repeat sales from the same client, making them feel the warm and fuzzies, right? All that good stuff as far as mutual empathy and care as far as the client goes, and creating that relationship, not just making it a transaction. The key thing here is knowing your customer, though, too. And when we dive into these questions, these are things you're going to be learning very quickly about this customer. And do you have to be a little bit more relational, maybe a little bit more transactional? Many of times, and Andy, let me know what you think, Andy, right? I don't know. Do you think it's more important that people are getting close to your heart in order to get the sale done? Or is it more about the 1, 2, 3, make the sale, transactional? Any thoughts, Andy?
I couldn't agree more. I mean, any kind of relationship that's formed in a transaction, it doesn't help the transaction, but it creates that customer that comes back and back again. And I know I've got several different people I work with that they have my business. They might not be the cheapest, but they have my business because of that relationship. So you're spot on.
Yes. No, I agree. And there's been, and I think all of us on the call, right? We have a ton of travel advisors on the call and people that are out there every day, selling and providing travel and putting these offers in front of clients. And all of us can also admit that, you were able to win over a sale. That might have been a really, really big sale, big high ticket item to somebody because you won them over. You won their kids over, right, during that transaction because you converted it and turned it more into a relational type of experience. But this really hopefully, sets the tone. You want to be curious. You want to read your customer, figure out how to become more in that or create more of a relational experience versus just a transactional experience. So let's use that and dive into these questions. All right. I say in no particular order, but if you think about it, I always joke around. It's kind of like when you're dating somebody, right, or want to get that first date with somebody, right? You don't just walk up to the person and say right away, "Will you go out with me?" Right? I might have done that once back in my high school days. I was a little bit awkward, but you don't want to just ask for that date right away, right? You want to talk to somebody. You want to get to know them. So, question number 1. Share with me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? what's your family like, special interests, and things like that. Now, over the course of these 10 questions, folks, if you think about it, I don't want you to take all these things so literally where the first thing you say to somebody when you pick up the phone or they decide to meet with you for coffee to talk to you about their family trip to Alaska that they're thinking about. Not that you're going to dive right in right away and say, where are you from, and be robotic about it, but these are kind of those warm-up questions, right? This is that relational turn that we spoke about. So thinking about things, getting to know them a little bit. If the person on the other side of that table, the person on the other side of that phone right away is diving into, we want to go on a 7-night Alaska. We want to do that 5-night Caribbean. How much can you get me, a balcony cabin? How much is it going to be? If they're throwing that at you right off the bat, find your way. Turn it around. Like, listen, love it. I'm so glad you're excited about the Caribbean, but I just want to pick your brain a little bit about to get to know you a little bit and make sure that I'm servicing you and providing you the best cruise vacation that you can have. Mr. Smith, where are you from again? Oh, you're from Baldwin. Oh, great. Oh, Baldwin, I knew people from there before, blah, blah, blah. And, I'm just curious, on this cruise, are you going to be going with your fill in the blank, your spouse, your family, whatever it may be. But these types of things, getting a little bit more personal with them, getting to know them a little bit. Question number 2, tell me about your last vacation. This, to me, everybody, this is one of the golden questions. Tell me about your last vacation. This is where it will open up a book about whether they booked it with a travel advisor, where did they travel to, what company and supplier or cruise line or hotel, who was the supplier that provided the service in the vacation. Did it go well? Did it not go that well? Right? Through this type of question, you're going to learn whether they just got back from a 14-day safari with a group of 24 people, small group, exotic type adventure, or did they just get back from a 2-night bus trip to Atlantic City? Tell me about your last vacation, right? That's the question at hand. And that type of question is going to provide you some golden nuggets regarding what their future vacation might look like, what that next vacation may look like that you are looking to get them booked on. Excuse me. Part of this, and you'll see the first part there under where it says, tell me about your last vacation, booked with a travel advisor, question mark. This is good too, right? Because And I heard this a lot after the whole pandemic and COVID and all that stuff, right? We saw quite a bit, and many of you may have seen, clients or customers who you were interacting with who ended up, sadly, having a bad experience with their previous travel advisor or travel agency or a .com, whatever it might be. Because, again, it hit the fan, right? I mean, suppliers were scrambling, the cruise lines were shut down, travel advisors were fighting for credits and refunds, and I mean, it was crazy. So asking a question like this and diving into a little bit about how they booked it, was possibly through another travel advisor, you might dig into the do's and don'ts that you want to follow as their new travel advisor. So be mindful of that. This question is a must. You want to get them talking. Okay. When and where? All right, you're not just going to ask it like this, but I put it there to kind of make a statement, right? So now we're talking about their next vacation, the trip, what you are looking to get them booked on and hopefully book for their next trip. So when are you looking to travel? Where are you looking to travel to? This question, it sounds very simple, right? We are looking to go to Europe in June, period. We are looking to sail to the Galapagos Islands in January, period. It's not just that. This question is going to give you so much more than just the actual destination and the time frame. something like this is going to tell you quite a bit about the customer as well. And I've had this happen, and actually, and I'm, again, one of the many stories I have from working travel shows and doing different things over the years, but I remember this specific gentleman came up to me. I was working for a supplier at the time, and I said, "Oh, hey, how are you? Where you have you traveled with us before? Where are you looking to go?" Started picking his brain a little bit, and he said to me, and I'm in New York, and he said to me, "We are looking to do a cruise to Hawaii." I said, "Oh, great. Okay, we have that. We have some great sailings going out of the West Coast, blah blah blah." And he stopped me and he said, "No. I want to sail from New York." So he wants to go to Hawaii and he wanted to sail from New York, but he didn't fully understand the geography. He didn't fully understand the time that it's going to now take him to potentially sail around the United States. You think about the math, right? So long story short, by me having a conversation with him and finding out where he wanted to go, right away, it taught me a little bit about this gentleman. And let's just say he did not book a cruise. The long story short, it gives you a little bit of a deeper dive when you really think about it regarding the customer, right? Somebody says they want to go to Alaska in February. All right, Alaska in February. Those of you who sell travel, Alaska is not the place you want to be in the middle of February. If you want to go to Italy or Greece in the summertime, okay, it's going to be hot, et cetera, et cetera. I want to travel in the peak season, okay, that's going to be a little bit more money. Shoulder season, you can get better pricing. Things like this, right? This can tell you a whole lot more about the person and the customer that you're dealing with than just simply where they want to go and when they want to go. These are learnings. These are observations that I implore all of you to make sure you're throwing these questions out there. Okay. Question number 4. Who do you plan on traveling with? Who do you plan on traveling with? Again, right, at face value, a very, very simple question. And obviously something you're probably going to ask all the time. And they make sure this with you right up front. My wife and I are looking to do this. My family and I are looking to do that. Things like that. Sounds very, very basic. But right away, it's also going to give you an idea. How much money are they going to have to spend if they're looking for a suite somewhere in Las Vegas, or they're looking for, an all-inclusive vacation somewhere for a family of 20. Okay, now right away, okay, budgets are getting higher now. Budgets are going to have to get higher. The more people that are traveling, the nicer things that they're going to want. But ultimately, who are they traveling with provides great intel into what direction this vacation is going to go in and this particular trip is going to go in. Is there anyone else who may travel with you? So question number 5, is there anyone else who may travel with you? I'm going to go back a slide. Who do you plan on traveling with? Was number 4. Number 5, is there anyone else who may travel with you? Now I say this, right? So it's basically you've established, for example, that they are traveling with their family. It's going to be a family of 4, let's say, husband, wife, and the 2 kids. They didn't say anybody else, but now, you spoke a little bit about traveling with the family and where they're looking to go and what they're looking to do and when they're looking to go. But now you bring it up again. Hey, I'm sorry, is there anyone else that was looking to travel with you? Oh my gosh, Dave, I forgot. Yeah, my brother and his wife are looking to go as well. I meant to call them before I called you. But yeah, we're going to actually need 2 cabins. We're going to actually need 3 cabins. We're actually going to need to, look to rent a full suite, whatever it may be. But by asking this question, again, a different way of asking who you're traveling with, now you're saying, hey, is there anybody else going with you? Going to hopefully look to actually gain you some more bookings and some more commission, but it's getting more out of the customer as far as what this trip really entails, this future vacation. How many times, and I know I've heard this, and Andy, you don't have to chime in, but I know you're there and listening, but heard these examples over time, but somebody books an amazing vacation with a travel advisor only to find out weeks later, months later, that all of a sudden the 3 more couples were going to be traveling with them, but they booked with another travel advisor. They booked it on their own, and it's like, hey, do you mind linking the reservation so we could have dinner together that night or one of the nights, whatever it is. And you look back and say, oh my gosh, if I maybe asked a few more questions, I possibly could have booked 7 cabins versus 1, whatever it may be. So making
I agree
sure
with you, David,
that you throw this out there again. Yeah.
I absolutely agree. And one thing that I can just share with that is, if you ask those qualifying questions and say, hey, well, is there anyone else, asking, does anyone else want to go with you on vacation? Just that alone might add another cabin to the booking.
100%. And I always find a way to, or I always suggest, all of the advisors out there, find your way of asking these questions. Don't be robotic, be yourself, add your personality to it. Find your way to slip these questions in there. Many people, they don't want to sound like a used car salesman. They don't want to push too hard because they get nervous. They'll scare the customer off or whatever it may be. It's not about that, really. It's really about fact finding. It's about being curious, about digging deeper and making sure that you can, fully service these clients. And that leads me to my next question. Question number 6. What aspects of your vacation are most important to you? What aspects of your vacation are most important to you? This here is a discovery question. This is going to help fill in a lot of details, a lot of blanks that maybe you have not uncovered just yet. Mind you, some of these other things may be coming up along the way, but when you think about this question, what aspects of your vacation are most important to you? Mr. and Mrs. Smith, maybe they are retired restaurant owners and they are huge foodies. It's the food, it's the restaurants, not only at the resort they're considering, but in the destination, in the local restaurants and flavors. When they're in Paris, where are we going to get to eat? When we're on that tour of the Northeast here in the United States, some amazing restaurants in New York and Boston, wherever they might be going. In any case, what aspects of your vacation are most important to you? Is it an all-inclusive type of experience at a hotel or resort? Is it your hotel and accommodation? Like I keep saying, suites. You must have a balcony. We must have an ocean view. Is it about the city that you're traveling to and the culture and being deeply immersed within the culture? If they're cruising, small ship experience or large ship experience? If they're cruising again, when they're dining, we only want to eat by ourselves. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, they love having that table for 2 every night with a window view overlooking the ocean. Whatever it might be, a question like this will get some more of those nitty-gritty details. Maybe they want more of a relaxed vacation. Maybe they're more social and they want to be partying. Who knows? But this type of question is going to help unleash some of those additional details that'll help you service them better ultimately. Okay. Question number 7. In order to best serve you, what else can I help you with when it comes to your vacation? In order to best serve you, what else can I help you with when it comes to your vacation? Now, if you're thinking about the other questions that I've posed and put out there today, there's a lot of information already coming, right? You probably have 3 or 4 pages of notes, depending on that person, the client, what vacation they're choosing, where they've been, all that good stuff. But a question like this now opens it up to some of those add-on products, some of those other things that they may want included within their vacation. We're talking about insurance, transfers, private car, specialty dining, excursions, a variety of other general pieces of information, but also detailed information, depending on the customer's likes and wants. So this will really help button up what you're doing for them. And more importantly, potentially make you some more money, right, when it comes to commission and making sure you're taking care of every single detail. Okay, it's closing time, folks. It is closing time. We're on to question number 8. You've gotten a lot of information over the course of that. Again, I'm throwing a lot of questions out there, but now, now that you've asked those questions, you've now diagnosed the perfect vacation, and you put that right in front of them, that 8-day tour to Italy. I don't know, I'm making that up. A Best of Italy tour. Boom. That's exactly what they wanted through everything that they explained to you on a nice 4-star tour of Italy, let's say. You diagnosed it. You've asked all the questions, all of their feedback. Based off all their feedback, that 8-day tour on a 4-star tour operator is perfect for them. They sound like they love it. Question number 8. Just so we can lock in this vacation at the great price that I found for you, how would you like to deposit? Some advisors, the brave ones, just say, give me your credit card. Obviously, I don't expect everybody to be doing that, depending on how brave you are. But I do say, of course, you must basically ask for the sale, right? Sales 101, you got to ask for it. Find your way of asking for it once you've diagnosed the perfect vacation through all those questions and being curious. So it's time to close the deal. And it's about assuming, right? Assume they love everything that they've heard. Assume that they are ready to go. They are ready to book it. And find your way of saying something to the effect of, just so we can lock in your vacation at the great price, how would you like to deposit? Actually, I'm going to put it on my American Express. I'm going to put it on my MasterCard. Excuse me. However it may be. But it's time to go ahead and ask for the business. Okay. Now that you have the business, they booked, locked and loaded, Mr. and Mrs. Smith are super excited about their tour to Italy, their family of 4 tour to Italy. Okay? Now, again, you're still engaging with them. Maybe it's, you're finishing up, about to head out, about to wrap things up, go your way. Oh, by the way, do you have any other future trips or vacations that you're starting to plan? And it's about, again, everyone, this is about finding your way of making sure you're putting this out there to your client. What other future trips or vacations are you starting to plan? This is, of course, after you already got, you already locked in vacation and trip number 1. Now it's time to look for ways to multiply your sales. You'd be very surprised, too, finding your way in the right way of actually just putting it out there. All of a sudden, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, who maybe they just locked in, a $20,000 plus vacation to Italy with you. And they say, oh, actually, you know what? Next year, our entire family is looking to do a cruise. And my uncle Steve is planning it. Let me give you his phone number. Bam! Andy, right? Bam! That's where.
You got it. Big referrals, man. Big money.
100%. 100%. The whole referral game, and it's just from you asking one simple little question in your own way. Or Mr. and Miss Smith say, you know what? Italy's going to be amazing with our family, but our 25th year anniversary is coming up. Actually, it's 2 years from now, and you know what? It's ready for us to do something just us. So multiplying your sales through these additional questions. And then to get bigger and better, before you officially say goodbye, question number 10, do you happen to travel with any groups or know of anyone who does? Do you happen to travel with any groups or know of anyone who does? This is another golden question. And why not ask this? Why not throw it out there? The person you're speaking with, maybe that's what maybe you're closing a deal on a group currently, right? Maybe Mr. and Mrs. Smith have a family and friends group that travels every year, and it's actually 30 people going to Italy. I don't know. But still throw this out there. Hey, do you happen to know of any other groups that actually are traveling, or are you part of any other associations, clubs, nonprofits, things like that do group travel? Put it out there. Along the way, again, this is question 10. So, I mean, you've been through a variety of questions and fact finding and taking notes and finding more and more about the customer, and you've collected hints along the way. But being mindful of, other opportunities to sell and other opportunities to sell travel, really, between these questions, but also maybe there's visuals. Maybe there's, you're talking to Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and you notice that Mrs. Smith had on, some logo wear, or a sweatshirt that had the logo of a hospital she works at. I don't know, just making that up, but it happens. And next thing you know, you get into a conversation about the hospital she works in, and come to find out that an association affiliated with that hospital, they do group trips every year for fundraisers. Again, being observant, keeping your antennas up, meaning, keep your ears and eyes open for potential business. But do you happen to travel with any groups or know of anyone who does? Because they could also, if they don't go with any other groups, they could also possibly provide a lead to you or a group that they know of that they could actually share with you. And at the end of the day, folks, it's really all about qualifying. It's all about being curious, asking questions, open-ended questions, finding out as much as you can when it comes to the client that you're sitting in front of or speaking to over the phone. Maybe it's some people have an intake, they call it intake form, right? Where it's a form where it asks some questions for your client for them to submit to you. But really, again, finding out what's going to be the perfect way, or asking the perfect questions to diagnose that future vacation, and finding a way to do it in your own way where you can go ahead and successfully make a sale ultimately. But Andy, again, a huge thank you to you, Travel Professional News, of course, Joni, yourself, and your entire team, and of course, all of you in attendance today, and those of you listening to the recording. Thank you so much for your time, and hopefully you learned a little something today.
Thank you for the time. I got some good interactions here. If you got a few minutes before we do the prize giveaway here, let's see here. We got some hellos. What do you think, Dave, is the best way to ask? Like, I guess it is the proper way to ask about a budget.
So it's funny, right? I shouldn't say it's funny. It's when people can take that question the wrong way. When I say people can take that question, depending on how you ask it, right? Like, many advisors are inclined for one of the first questions out of their mouth to a potential customer or to a customer is, how much money are you looking to spend? Or what is your budget? Right? Mm-hmm. That's a bit of a personal question. It's almost like asking, how much money do you make? So I would honestly hold off on that question until much later on, when they're describing to you the types of vacations they went on in the past, when they're sharing with you what they're expecting from their future vacation. That's when you could say, you know what, Mr. and Ms. Smith, you mentioned you want to stay somewhere near the Eiffel Tower in Paris. I know a lot of those hotels, they're beautiful. They tend to be, a little bit, they're on the higher end, maybe a little bit more expensive. They're city center, wherever they might be traveling to. So, we could look at some of those, but maybe we'll look at a few others that are just outside of the city. Provide a few options as well. So, I'm not dead set against asking about a budget, but I would recommend, if you're going to dive into the budget conversation, wait until later on after you've acknowledged some of those other factors for their future vacation that'll help you steer higher premium and luxury or more middle of the road or budget conscious.
I completely agree. I got one. Could you flash back to your first slide? Question number 1.
Sure can. Oops. There you go.
There we go. Tanya, there you go. Thank you for your patience. I appreciate you really waiting that patiently. Got a couple really good insights here. One way to ask about future vacations would be on a follow-up call to their trip. One agent said, that's when she'll ask, okay, I'm so great to hear that trip went awesome, but what's next? That's going to be a good time to kind of reinstate that bond, and that you can help them in the future as well.
Yep.
Let's see. I'm just kind of looking through a few here. A couple really good insights about just one agent, Christina, made a comment that when you're asking about their destination, she makes a point to really ask, why did they choose that destination? Because it helps her kind of understand what other places, what other options might be available, instead of if there's budgetary constraints or anything like that. So I thought that was really good insight, Christina. A lot of people would like to watch this again. So you're going to definitely get some you're going to get some emails here for people asking for more information. So get ready for that, Dave.
Fantastic.
Well, I've got most of the questions kind of answered here. And again, after this presentation, this webinar will be recorded. It is being recorded right now, and it will be live on our YouTube, as well as travelprofessionalnews.com and homebasedtravelagent.com. That will be live tomorrow. But if anyone has any other questions, feel free to type them in. But Dave, if you're ready, we could do some prize stuff if you'd like.
Sounds good. Oops. I am ready.
All right, let me get myself situated again. All right, so for the first 2 questions, Dave has been very generous to give a 30-minute consultation regarding you and your business. So the first question is a fill in the blank. So you're going to type that answer into the question column, and I'm going to choose the 5th correct answer, if that sounds fair. So fill in the blank. When qualifying a customer, the goal of the travel advisor should be to be less transactional and more blank. So go ahead and type that answer into the questions column, and I'm going to pick that 5th one out. Nicely done, Reba. I'm going to go ahead and say you just took that one. Nicely done. Let me just make a note here, because if I don't, I will forget. All right. So we got 30-minute consultation with you on that one. All right. Question number 2.
Excellent.
How many times should you ask the customer about who else is traveling with them on their current trip? How many times should you ask the client if there's anyone else traveling with them? Grandmas, grandpas, cousins, nieces, nephews, neighbors? I don't know. Type your answer into that right-hand column. I'm going to choose number 8 today, because that sounds like a fun number. So the 8th correct answer is going to get this one. You guys nailed that first question. I'm still scrolling through that first question. Nicely done, guys. There we go. Seeing we're hearing a lot of good answers here. Number 7, number 8. Oh, all right, I got the winner here.
Good.
Elisa Ball Elisa, Elisa, congratulations. You got a 30-minute consultation with the man of the hour,
Good
Mr.
draft.
Dave. And the last one
Excellent.
I've got today is a $50 gift card with Black Friday coming up. I know no one's going to be mad about that one.
Woohoo!
And yeah, it's shopping time. Third question, go ahead. I'm going to select the 10th correct answer for the $50 gift card provided by us. Here it is. Type those answers in. Here we go. What's one other question you could ask to help build your sales during the qualification process? What's one additional question? All right. Gonna select the 10th one here. Here we go. You got a lot of really good questions, a lot of really good answers. Man, I'm telling you, they were paying attention today.
Nice.
Oh, man. Oh, we got it. Number 9. Okay. Number 10. All right. Tanya Jordan. Congratulations. You just got a $50 gift card for it's not for Black Friday, but it's coming. So I know everyone's talking about it. All right. Tanya Jordan, congratulations. A $50 gift card from us. Fantastic jobs, everyone. I really think that was a great, everyone really got something from this. Dave, thank you for the time today, my friend. Seriously,
Thanks,
appreciate
Andy.
it, man.
Appreciate
thank
you,
you
Andy,
all
and
for
thank
taking
you
the
for all
time
you
out
do,
of
Jim.
Oh, man, it's my pleasure. And thank you guys all for taking your time out of your busy days to spend an hour with us, a little bit less than an hour. I hope everyone has just the most wonderful Thanksgiving and holiday season. Dave, same to you and your family. Thank you all for being here. With that
All the
said,
best,
I'm going to
Andy.
go ahead
Thank
and
you.
Awesome, Dave. All right. You have a wonderful day. Thank you guys so much for the time. I will be in contact with you, Dave, tomorrow morning, and I hope everyone enjoys their evening.
Sounds good. Bye, everybody. Take care.